tirade of criticism and damning accusations made against them by their eldest son, Brooklyn.
They make mistakes. Children are allowed to make mistakes. That's how they learn.
She wanted the focus to be on her, which makes sense.
A very different side to the Beckham family that we're seeing tonight, and certainly Brooklyn Beckham has come out with some very strong statements about his parents.
David and Victoria of controlling his life, sabotaging this marriage to Nicola Peltz via wedding interference, media lies and excluding her.
There was an absolutely explosive Instagram story post.
The golden boy of Britain's most famous family just dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming. For 30 years, we've watched them smile in perfect family photos, attend glamorous events, and build an empire worth hundreds of millions. But their firstborn son just shattered that illusion with explosive revelations that have left everyone stunned. Brooklyn, the eldest child of one of the world's most photographed couples, has broken his silence after years of speculation about why he's been mysteriously absent from family gatherings. And what he's revealed isn't just family drama. It's a complete dismantling of everything we thought we knew about this iconic dynasty. The timing couldn't be more shocking, just when his parents seemed untouchable, with documentaries cementing their legacy and business ventures thriving. Their own son has come forward with allegations that paint a very different picture behind closed doors. He's not asking for reconciliation. He's not seeking attention. He's simply done pretending. What makes this even more extraordinary is that this young man grew up in the ultimate spotlight. From the moment he was born, every detail of his life was public knowledge. Even the location where his parents conceived him became tabloid fodder. That's the level of exposure this kid faced from day one. Now, at 25, married to a billionaire's daughter, he's finally found the courage to speak his truth. The cracks have been showing for years, but we all missed the signs. The wedding drama that everyone dismissed as typical family tension. The covered-up tattoos that once proclaimed devotion. The conspicuous absences from family events that publicists smoothly explained away. It all makes sense now. His recent social media posts aren't just venting. They're a calculated demolition of 3 decades of carefully crafted public relations.
And it all makes sense. When she's in the Spice Girls, she wants all attention on her. Scary Spice, Ginger Spice, Sporty Spice. She can't share the limelight with them. How do you fix that when you're in a family?
His parents have repeatedly tried to ruin his relationship with his wife, Nicola.
It was the hardest period for us.
The narrative that his wife is controlling him is completely backwards, that he feels that he has been controlled by his parents.
Victoria cancelled making Nicola's dress and hijacked the first dance at the wedding.
Brooklyn creating space from his parents, who he claims have always put brand Beckham first.
And the details he's sharing? They're so specific, so damaging that legal teams must be scrambling. Because when you accuse your parents of trying to legally own your name, of sabotaging your wedding, of prioritizing their brand over their children, well, those aren't claims you make lightly. The public reaction has been swift and divided. Die-hard fans refuse to believe their heroes could be anything less than perfect parents. Others see a spoiled rich kid biting the hand that fed him. But what if neither narrative is correct? What if we're witnessing something far more complex? A young man finally escaping a gilded cage. Let's start with the name controversy, because this isn't just about a surname. This is about control, legacy, and millions in potential earnings. According to Brooklyn, weeks before his wedding, his parents pressured him to sign away the rights to his own name. Not metaphorically, legally. They wanted him to transfer ownership of his identity to their company. Think about that for a moment. Your parents give you a name at birth, raise you in the public eye, build a brand around that name, and then demand you sign it over to them. It's not just unusual, it's unprecedented in its level of control. This would mean he couldn't use his own name for business ventures without their permission. His future children would need approval to capitalize on their birthright. The parallels to certain royal family members who've recently stepped away from their duties are impossible to ignore. It's the same playbook. Conform to our rules, protect our image, or lose everything. But Brooklyn had an ace up his sleeve. He'd fallen in love with someone whose family wealth made his parents' fortune look modest. Suddenly, their financial leverage evaporated.
In front of 500 wedding guests, Mark Anthony called me to the stage where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead my mum was waiting to dance with me. She danced very inappropriately on me.
He does not want to reconcile with them.
The eldest son of the Beckhams has been married. He hasn't really popped up at a lot of these sort of family events.
The wedding itself became ground zero for this family warfare. Every detail Brooklyn shares paints a picture of a celebration hijacked by ego and control. His mother allegedly cancelled making his bride's wedding dress at the last minute, sending the bride scrambling for alternatives. This wasn't just an inconvenience. For any bride, especially one marrying into such a high-profile family, it was a devastating blow. But the real showstopper came during what should have been the couple's first dance. According to Brooklyn, his mother literally hijacked the moment. Instead of watching their son share this intimate moment with his new wife, she allegedly inserted herself into the spotlight, dancing with him first while hundreds of guests watched in confusion. The way he describes it, using words like inappropriate and humiliating, suggests this wasn't just an over-eager mother wanting one dance with her son. This was a power play, performed in front of 500 witnesses, designed to show everyone who really mattered in this family dynamic. Sources from the wedding corroborate parts of this story.
And it's been the biggest tool to make people aware of what's going on around the world for children. And I've tried to do the same. I've tried to do the same with my children, to educate them.
David and Victoria of controlling his life, sabotaging this marriage to Nicola Peltz via wedding interference, media lies and excluding her.
It was the first time that me and Victoria had been put under that kind of pressure.
There were whispers at the time about the bride leaving in tears, about tension between the families, about awkward moments glossed over in the official photos. The glossy magazine spread that followed showed none of this drama, of course. That's the thing about controlling the narrative. You can edit out the uncomfortable truths. What's particularly telling is how Brooklyn describes his relationship with his siblings. He claims they were sent to attack him on social media before ultimately blocking him. If true, this shows how deep the family divide runs. It's not just parents versus child. It's an entire family system mobilized to protect the brand. The psychological impact of growing up in this environment can't be understated. Brooklyn describes living with overwhelming anxiety that only disappeared after he stepped away from his family. For someone born into privilege, surrounded by wealth and opportunity, to describe their upbringing this way speaks volumes about what money can't buy. His mother's influence seems particularly contentious. The woman who transformed from pop star to fashion icon, who helped orchestrate one of the most successful celebrity partnerships in history, apparently couldn't let go of control when it came to her firstborn. Every anecdote Brooklyn shares points to a woman who sees her children not as individuals, but as extensions of the brand she helped build. The irony isn't lost on anyone who knows their history. This is a woman who owes much of her continued relevance to the family name she married into. Yet she allegedly tried to control her son's use of that same name, forgetting perhaps that it was his birthright, not just her business asset. The father's role in all this remains somewhat murky. Brooklyn mentions him less frequently, suggesting either a less active role in the conflict or perhaps a glimmer of hope for eventual reconciliation. But the fact that he allegedly refused to see his son except at public events with cameras present tells its own story about priorities. What we're witnessing isn't just a family feud. It's the collision between old-school celebrity management and a new generation that refuses to play by those rules. Brooklyn's generation has grown up watching people share their truths on social media, watching whistleblowers expose toxic systems, watching young people stand up to powerful institutions. He's applying those lessons to his own family.
Damaging thing for them to be written from their son.
The whole thing is he's been controlled by a family that values public promotion above all else.
She hijacked their first dance, and that she was dancing in a very inappropriate and uncomfortable way with him. She wanted the focus to be on her, which makes sense.
The timing of his revelations is particularly significant. This isn't a heat-of-the-moment outburst. By his own admission, he's been silent for years. The decision to speak out now, when he's established his own life and found financial independence through marriage, shows careful planning. He's not a teenager lashing out. He's an adult who's tried everything else and found no other option. His wife's role in this drama deserves examination too. Painted by unnamed sources as a manipulator who stole him from his family, she emerges from Brooklyn's account as someone who's been repeatedly disrespected and excluded. The detail about his mother inviting women from his past to family events specifically to cause discomfort shows a level of psychological warfare that goes beyond typical in-law tensions. The broader implications of this family breakdown extend beyond gossip columns. This is a cautionary tale about what happens when brand management supersedes human relationships. When every family photo is a business opportunity, every gathering a potential PR moment, something fundamental gets lost. Brooklyn's accusation that family love is decided by how much you post on social media cuts to the heart of modern celebrity culture. Legal ramifications loom large over these revelations. The specificity of Brooklyn's claims, dates, events, witnesses, suggests he's prepared for potential backlash. You don't accuse people this powerful of these things without evidence. The fact that he's gone public, despite the obvious risks, shows either tremendous courage or deep desperation, perhaps both. The public's reaction reveals our own complicated relationship with celebrity families. We want to believe in the fairy tale and the perfect couple who raise perfect children in their perfect homes. When someone punctures that illusion, we often attack the messenger rather than examine the message. Brooklyn knew this would happen, yet spoke out anyway. This story also highlights the unique pressures faced by children of famous parents.
He grew up feeling like he had to be part of brand Beckham, and that's a big thing to put on people.
He doesn't want his life shaped by image, press, or manipulation. All we want is peace, privacy, and happiness. But as you say, Beck's bit back.
Brooklyn Beckham has posted a 6-page statement on social media addressing an ongoing family feud. He says he does not want to reconcile with his family.
Born into a narrative they didn't choose, expected to perform roles they didn't audition for, many struggle to find their own identity. Brooklyn's solution, marrying into another wealthy family and creating distance, might seem like trading one gilded cage for another, but at least it's a cage of his own choosing. The detail about his parents attempting to bribe him adds another layer of complexity. This wasn't just pressure, but it was a transaction. Sign away your rights and we'll make it worth your while. The fact that he refused, knowing what it would cost him in terms of family relationships, shows the depth of his conviction. What makes this situation particularly sad is that it didn't have to be this way. Plenty of famous families manage to balance public personas with private authenticity. The key difference seems to be whether children are seen as individuals or as supporting players in their parents' narrative. Brooklyn clearly felt like the latter. His statement about finally standing up for himself for the first time in my life is perhaps the most damning indictment of his upbringing. What kind of environment produces a 25-year-old who feels he's never been allowed to advocate for himself? What kind of parents create conditions where their child feels speaking his truth requires cutting them off entirely? The comparison to royal family dynamics is unavoidable. Both situations involve young men married to women their families didn't fully embrace. Both involve disputes over control, money, and public image. Both show what happens when institutional preservation trumps individual happiness. The difference is that Brooklyn doesn't have centuries of tradition to blame, just parents who prioritized fame over family. As this story continues to unfold, more details will undoubtedly emerge.
David and Victoria Beckham's eldest son has launched a blistering spray at his parents, accusing them of trying to control his image, finances and marriage.
He's always put his family first, always put his mother first. The one time they asked for the mum, Victoria, to help out in anything was a photo op to help with the bushfire victims in Victoria, in LA, and they didn't have she didn't do it.
There was an absolutely explosive Instagram story posts.
Other family members may share their perspectives. Legal documents might surface. The truth, as always, probably lies somewhere between the extremes. But what's already clear is that the perfect family image we've been sold for 3 decades was just that, an image. Brooklyn's courage in speaking out, regardless of his motivations, has started a conversation about the real cost of fame, the price of perfection, and the damage done when brands matter more than bonds. His anxiety may have lifted, but the weight of his revelations will ripple through his family for years to come. Whether reconciliation is possible remains to be seen. It would require something celebrity culture rarely allows: genuine accountability and private healing away from public scrutiny. Based on Brooklyn's statements, he's not holding his breath. He's chosen his own path, with his own family, on his own terms. The saddest part of this entire saga is that it was preventable. Every controlling move, every prioritization of image over authenticity, every moment where a brand trumped blood, these were choices. Different choices could have led to a different outcome. Instead, we're left with a shattered fairy tale and a young man who felt he had to choose between his sanity and his family. As more celebrity children come of age in our social media era, Brooklyn's story might become less unique. The tools for controlling narrative have multiplied, but so have the platforms for speaking truth. The balance of power is shifting, and the carefully managed images of yesterday can't survive the transparency demands of today. What happens next in this family drama is anyone's guess. Legal battles might ensue. Public relations teams will work overtime. More revelations might surface. But one thing is certain. The perfect family facade has cracked beyond repair. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what needed to happen. The real question isn't whether Brooklyn was right to speak out. It's whether his parents will listen. Because at the end of the day, brands can be rebuilt, images can be rehabilitated, but relationships? Once broken by betrayal and control, those are much harder to repair. Time will tell if this family values reconciliation as much as they've valued their reputation. For now, Brooklyn has made his choice. He's chosen truth over silence, authenticity over performance, and his own family over the one that raised him. Whether that makes him ungrateful or brave depends on your perspective. But one thing is undeniable. He's finally free from the anxiety that plagued him for 25 years. And sometimes that freedom is worth any price. That's it for today, folks. See you in the next video.